Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The Young and the Restless Friday, October 18 recap. Phyllis begins Sharon investigation, vows to prove Daniel innocent. The Young and the Restless, by and R, spoilers recap for Friday, October 18, reveals that the show will celebrate the 30th anniversary of Michelle Stafford's first episode as Phyllis Summers, so there'll be tons of flashbacks and moments from her history. However, R will kick things off with Phyllis' theory, since she'll suggest Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, might have been the one to frame Daniel Romalotti Jr., Michael Grazietti. Daniel, Summer Newman, Allison Lanier, and Lucy Romalotti. Lily Brooks O'Brien will listen to Phyllis' perspective on the situation in the park. Phyllis will point out that Sharon claims she visited Heather Stevens, Vale Bloom, on her last night alive, and that she gave this bogus story to the cops about Heather's fight with Daniel. Daniel will think it's a stretch to accuse Sharon of eliminating Heather and setting him up to take the fall for it. Although Daniel won't think Sharon has a reasonable motive for that. Phyllis will suggest maybe things got out of hand and ended in a tragic accident. Phyllis will highlight Sharon's mental instability and point out it wouldn't be the first time Sharon put someone in harm's way. After Phyllis blames Sharon for putting her in a coma, she'll note that Sharon took out Cameron Kirsten, Lyndon Ashby, even if it was in self-defense. Daniel will feel like Phyllis' history with Sharon is clouding her judgment, but Phyllis will insist that's not the case despite some rivalry flashbacks. That said, Phyllis will understand Daniel's concerns about her overreacting and going off the rails considering her past. Lucy will be curious, so Phyllis will tell her some stories, including some about her romantic histories with Danny Romalotti, Michael Damian, Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, and Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman. Phyllis will talk about losing custody of Daniel and reconnecting with him as a teenager before spilling the story of Summer's tumultuous elevator birth. We'll also see Phyllis reflect on her infamous octopus bed trick and some of her wacky disguises over the years, but so there'll be a nice mix of memories to honor Michelle Stafford in this standalone episode. Phyllis will ultimately circle back to Sharon, since her internal radar will be going off. Daniel and Summer will know they can't talk Phyllis out of gathering information, but Daniel will still warn her not to go undercover or go against the police. Phyllis will promise to be careful and will vow to prove Daniel is innocent. After Phyllis makes a prediction about them getting through this together as a family, she'll share a group hug with Daniel, Summer, and Lucy. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Phyllis' investigation could lead to bad news for Sharon, so we'll bring you updates on all the chaos she could unleash. In today's gripping episode of The Young and the Restless, Phyllis Summers sets her sights on Sharon Newman, determined to prove Daniel's innocence in a scandal that has shaken Genoa City. Tensions rise, alliances shift, and secrets threaten to unravel as the stakes get higher for everyone involved. Phyllis' determination, a mother's desperate fight. The episode begins with Phyllis storming into Crimson Lights, her expression a blend of anger and resolve. She spots Sharon behind the counter, and there's no mistaking the tension between the two. Phyllis has been on the warpath ever since Daniel was accused of a crime he insists he didn't commit. While Phyllis always has her son's back, this time her suspicion has shifted to Sharon, and she believes the only way to clear Daniel's name is to investigate Sharon's potential involvement. Phyllis approaches the counter, her heels clicking against the floor like a ticking clock. Sharon greets her with a polite smile, but it quickly fades when she sees the look in Phyllis' eyes. "Phyllis, what can I get you?" Sharon asks, attempting to maintain professionalism. Phyllis leans in slightly, her voice low but laced with venom. "What I want, Sharon, is the truth, and I won't stop until I get it." Sharon blinks, taken aback but refusing to be intimidated. What are you talking about? You know exactly what I'm talking about, Phyllis snaps, crossing her arms. Daniel, the accusations. You had something to do with it, and I'm going to find out what. Sharon's face hardens. Phyllis, I had nothing to do with Daniel's situation. You're barking up the wrong tree. Phyllis narrows her eyes. We'll see about that. Nick caught in the crossfire. As the tension between Phyllis and Sharon escalates, Nick Newman walks into the coffee house just in time to witness the confrontation. He's immediately on high alert, knowing that whenever these two women are in the same room, trouble isn't far behind. Whoa, what's going on here? Nick asks, stepping between them. Phyllis glares at him, her temper barely in check. Your ex here is hiding something, and I'm going to find out what. Phyllis, calm down, Nick says, holding up his hands in a placating gesture. Sharon's not involved in this. You need to stop jumping to conclusions. Phyllis shoots him a look that could cut glass. Don't you dare tell me to calm down. My son's future is at stake, and if Sharon knows something, I'm not going to just sit back and let it slide. Sharon, now visibly frustrated, speaks up. Nick, I've told Phyllis I have nothing to do with this. I'm not hiding anything. Nick sighs, caught in the middle of the storm. Phyllis, let's not do this here. We need to figure out what's really going on, but this isn't the way. Phyllis shakes her head, eyes blazing with determination. No, Nick, I'm done playing nice. I'm going to dig into every corner of this mess until I find out who's framing my son. And Sharon, if I find out you're lying, so help me, I will make you regret it. Meanwhile, Daniel struggles. While Phyllis is busy pointing fingers, Daniel finds himself overwhelmed by the weight of the accusations against him. Sitting alone in his apartment, he stares at the newspaper headline declaring his guilt in bold letters. His mind races with the same question over and over. Who would want to frame him? He thinks about Phyllis, who's never wavered in her belief that he's innocent. As much as he appreciates her fighting for him, he knows she can sometimes let her emotions cloud her judgment. Sharon might not be his biggest fan, but Daniel can't imagine her going to such lengths to sabotage him. There's a knock at the door, and Daniel looks up, weary. He's not in the mood for company, but he stands and opens the door to find Lily Winters standing there. Her expression is one of sympathy mixed with concern. Lily, Daniel sighs, I wasn't expecting you. I know, she says gently, stepping inside. But I couldn't stay away. How are you holding up? Daniel runs a hand through his hair, clearly worn down. I don't know. It feels like the walls are closing in on me. I didn't do this, Lily, but it's like no one believes me. Lily places a comforting hand on his shoulder. I believe you, Daniel, and we're going to get through this. We just have to figure out who's behind it. Daniel nods, though the weight of his situation is still heavy on his chest. Phyllis is out there, doing her Phyllis thing, trying to find someone to blame. But I don't want her to make things worse. Lily gives him a small smile. You know she's only doing it because she loves you. But I'll help too. We'll find out the truth. Victor's involvement, an unlikely ally? Across town, Victor Newman sits in his office at Newman Enterprises, reading a report on the situation surrounding Daniel. His brow furrows as he contemplates his next move. Though he's never been particularly close to Daniel, Victor doesn't like the idea of anyone being wrongly accused, especially when it could affect his family. Victor picks up his phone and makes a call. I want you to dig deeper into Daniel Romolotti's case. I have a feeling something isn't adding up. As the wheels start turning on Victor's investigation, it becomes clear that more forces are at play than anyone realizes. Phyllis might have her suspicions about Sharon, but the real culprit could be lurking in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike again. Phyllis' plan moves forward. Back at Crimson Lights, Phyllis takes a step back from Sharon, her mind already spinning with ideas. If Sharon won't admit to being involved, then Phyllis will just have to find the proof herself. She pulls out her phone and dials a number. "I need a favor," she says once the line picks up. "Meet me tonight. It's time to take things into my own hands." As Phyllis hangs up, Sharon watches her warily, knowing that whatever Phyllis is planning, it won't be good. But Sharon also knows that she's innocent, and she won't let Phyllis destroy her life in her quest for answers. The episode ends with Phyllis walking out of the coffee house, a determined glint in her eye. She's on a mission to clear Daniel's name, and nothing, not even Sharon, will stand in her way. But with so many secrets still buried, it's anyone's guess how far Phyllis will go to uncover the truth, and what she'll find along the way. As the camera fades, the question lingers. Is Phyllis hunting the right target, or is she about to open a Pandora's box that could destroy them all?